On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, training camp starts today and we are juiced up. We break down the roster, who's on the bubble, and Tana gives you the best way to know if someone's going to make the team. It all starts right now.
Water bias.
Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss.
Your boy.
Boys.
Yes.
How has summer been? I feel like I haven't seen you in a very long time.
Summer been summering.
Summer been summering?
Hey, I finished. The DMV has been on fire.
Fire.
I'm talking about 100 degrees, 100 degrees, 100 back to back.
Oh,
to
actual
back.
temperature.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But then I went to Chicago, and
Dude, this man talks
80
about Chicago
degrees.
like it's...
Hey, 80 degrees for 5 days straight.
Yeah.
I could not believe, because I used to go there in the summer as a kid.
Next door neighbor, right?
My family's there. And it was just unbearably hot, but it was just like, and then I was talking to people in Chicago, they were like, nah, this is a cool summer for us. We didn't have a cool
Why
summer.
were you out there?
My daughter had an AAU tournament out there. So.
Your daughter's kind of a beast, huh?
Yeah, she is. She's just like her daddy.
It's impossible to know she's a Smoot.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't understand.
She's just like her daddy. And guess what, Logan?
What?
I love to see her score, but I love to see her talk trash. Like when
Does she talk a lot?
Oh my
well, then.
God! I just
seen
sit
her
in
play?
the,
I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet.
I just sit in the. I just cry in the stands. Like I don't even care about the
know-
20
I can
birds.
only
You know what's
imagine.
You know what's wild is I hate it when my son talks trash.
Yeah,
I
because
hate
you
it.
did.
I
Like,
hate it.
And
Yeah.
get what? He just gonna be so opposite of you. See, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be cheering for him. Yeah, little Logan, your dad ain't nothing.
It's true.
And I'm just the opposite. I hate trash talkers, boy.
Dude,
I
love
I'm making my duty to embarrass you.
what I'm
And
saying.
embarrass your mama. And your daddy.
I just
all
love,
of them at one time.
I think I love to see it from her because they're telling me that she emotionally connected to the
Yeah.
game.
like locked
she
in.
cares. Like she mad when they lose. She one of those. She's passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if your kid passionate about something, you don't have to ask them to do it.
is she
ever.
talking to the other team or is she like talking to her like what-
First of all, she's giggly. She's very giggly, fun, nice. But when the game start, she ain't doing all that smiling no more. She very competitive.
So tell me this, and I wanted to ask you this a long time ago.
Yeah.
How is she now seeing how much of this, I guess you can say,
Love she been getting
not the
shown.
love, but
Caitlin
just the
Clark?
traction that the WNBA has been getting
Yeah.
from everybody now?
I think she don't really get. She's such a fan of the game that she don't get caught up in what I'm gonna do then. I
Yeah.
think she's just so happy to be where she at now.
Gotcha.
Like I think her feet is on the ground. Like we was talking in Chicago after she had a good game with like 19 points and she was like pouting and stuff. Like what are you pouting about? Y'all won the game. You had a good game. She's like, nah, missed too many shots, left a lot of baskets on the board.
Oh, yeah, if she
Plus,
like that,
I supposed to have like 5 more steals.
How old is she?
She's literally just turned 16 2 days ago.
Dude, that's
3 days
awesome.
ago.
That gets me
Happy
fired
birthday,
up,
though.
man.
Yeah,
Gets me fired
yeah,
up.
because she holds herself accountable.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing with her. And like I told her, as long as you your own biggest critic,
Yeah.
you ain't got to worry about what nobody else say.
It's crazy because I do all the training and I do
Yeah.
the coaching and stuff, and
Yeah.
like you want kids
To
that are
want
like
it.
self-starters and self-motivated. Tanny, you were talking about crocodiles in the meet. You were in Florida. Did you see some
No,
crocodiles?
we were talking
so I
about
was
fresh
asking
water
him.
and
I was
saltwater.
asking him about because I was watching the news in Florida where I thought it was an alligator that just showed up on shore
Yeah.
at the beach. And
Yeah.
he was like, "That's fresh. What? That's all we said.
Crocodile.
Saltwater
Saltwater
crocodile."
crocodile. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm like, man, Fred, you know everything. I'm dang.
Yeah.
He does know a lot of stuff.
I didn't even know it existed. You know what I'm saying?
He does
Yeah.
know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so that was just rare for me to see that, and then just to know. That's why I haven't been going to the beach for nothing, because I don't
Yeah.
want to see no sharks. Sharks are up on the shore now. And
Well,
yeah,
that's because the water is warming up. As the water warms up, they chase their food because their food comes close to the
Come close
inland.
to
They're
the
going to come
inland.
close to the inland. That's just what we is. I guess one day we're going to finally say as people, global warming.
yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
real.
I don't know if
It's
that's true because I know some sharks don't like the warmer water.
Well, it depends on what shark it is. The smaller sharks stay in the warmer water. The bigger sharks stay in cooler
'Cause
water where the bigger prey is.
I know up in Cape Cod, which you always roast. me
Oh,
for.
yeah. Because you know what? Logan is the only person who calls and say, you know what, fellas? Won't be in this week. Go on vacation.
I mean, you were
to Cape
talking
Cod.
about Chicago like it was the Bahamas a second ago. So
No.
chill out, man.
Yeah, but hey, Chicago, I don't know what they did to their city, but they just ran a mop over the city. They cleaned that city up, man. Downtown Chicago looks great, man. I'm telling you now, it don't even stink.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough summer recap.
Yeah, we did nothing.
So we got-
we did nothing
That's
outside.
special.
Cape Cod, Chicago, Miami. He from
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
That's special.
But yeah, we got a bunch of stuff we got to promote. So first off, we got our historical podcast, right? Hales Tales.
Yes.
And we just had the Joe Gibb hiring episode, or that's coming up, Jason. I'm confused. They
The
just had
first
it.
hiring. Make sure you say that.
I know because
Because
you
the
want to
second
talk
hiring-
about the second hiring so much.
Yeah, I can't wait till they do that Tails so I can narrate it.
We did it on the last episode, right? He talked about it. We did our own little mini Hales Tales
No,
with
I'm
you.
talking about the Hell's Tales when they want to do it correctly.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be there
So not-
narrating. It started on a summer day. I was bored, nothing to do out there, and I just had Coach Gibbs on the brain. You know what I'm saying?
Is that the last one, or is there another one coming up? 2 more? I mean, gosh.
How many stories can they tell?
I'm sure a lot.
We ain't involved in none of them because
Tana's involved in one of them.
I actually
we
got
had to
in
rub
there.
our face in it.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
actually got in there, man.
Thanks, Jay.
Sorry for you, bro.
I love how bad Fred wants to be in on this. Like, so badly. Fred's like, Jason, please let me on this show.
Jason like to see me hated on. Like it's something. It does something. His hair perks up and everything. Like finally, Fred hated on. I love it.
So obviously that's a great show. That's in our that's on our normal YouTube, or not YouTube. That's on our normal podcast feeds. So like Apple and Spotify.
Yep.
And then the big news. Drum
Yeah.
roll. We got our People's Choice Podcast Awards.
Yes.
So apparently I didn't know this, but this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And Tana found out because he texted a bunch of people and they said
They
it's
like-
a big
They were
deal.
like, bro, y'all up for that?
Yeah.
People's choice,
Yeah.
not
People.
the critics.
Yeah.
The people. You understand
Because
me?
you better believe the critics wouldn't vote for
But
this show.
first of all, I hate critics because they don't know what the hell they talking about most of the time.
Yeah.
All right? The people know what they like. You can't tell people what they like and consume.
Yeah.
The people.
That's true. So the way this works is they have like a panel of experts.
Yeah.
And they vote on 10 shows. And we are one of those 10 shows. And so now no more expert voting. It's only fan voting.
Yeah.
So you can go online. There's a website. Jason, do you know the website? Because I don't know it.
podcastawards.com.
Oh, easy peasy. It's also in the description.
Podcastawards.com.
Yeah.
So we need you guys to vote. Vote. All you need is an email. Tell your friends, tell your family, everybody to vote because we could potentially win if
We
everyone
want to
votes.
win. Let's be honest.
And-
we want to win. This is the best podcast you get. What other show did you get the smooth guy, the brain, and just me? At the end of the day, this
He's
is
his own
the best
category.
podcast. And it is. So go
Yeah.
out there and vote for us. And when you do that, we are going to meet you at training camp. And we're going to get a picture with all of us,
Yeah.
with you. And we're going to actually sit down and chat with you, too.
Do they have to prove it? Do they have to prove that they voted?
Yes, they should by sending that email at what? That Hawkeye.
That hawkoutside at gmail.com.
Thank you to give us proof that you did it, so then we can provide you with what we need to pray you and show you thank you for
Yeah.
what you've done.
And also there's
approve
shirts
that
available.
message.
Yeah. Shirts available too. So
Yeah, we got some merch left over.
Yeah, we got a couple more shirts left.
I'm not above anything here, so this is a big deal. We're up against some ESPN podcasts, some NFL Network podcasts, and we're
Rightly so.
we're small market. Well, not a small market, but compared to the whole country,
Yeah.
right? We're a small little group here.
yeah, because it's literally
So,
us
like,
just
we're mom
recording
and
this.
pop.
We're just recording this in a
Daniel
closet.
Goliath.
Yeah.
This is Daniel versus Goliath. So our fans really need to turn out for us, but I think they can do it.
I think we got a chance because we got fans all over the United States, all over the world. We got fans in Australia, London, all of them come out. Hey, show us some love. You know we the best. Don't lie to yourself. Tell the truth.
Yeah, all you need is an email to vote. So
Yeah.
let's say you have a couple emails.
Couple emails.
That's a couple votes.
Your
Even
kids
if
got
you're
an email?
lying, man,
Yeah.
we'll take it. Even if you don't like us, just vote for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
listen,
you know?
I've done that before.
Maybe you show us proof when you email that hawkoutside@gmail.com, and maybe we'll put you in a raffle
Maybe
for
we
some
need to
more
get
merch
stickers.
or
I
something.
voted.
Yeah.
I voted.
And then
People's
obviously
choice.
everyone wants to take a picture with Fred, and we'll do that no problem. So
Yeah, we'll show you love. You show us love, we'll show you
We're going
love.
to show
Yeah.
love back. That's just the way it is.
And amongst all this love showing,
Yes,
Fred,
I love.
we've got some really, really exciting football-related stuff happening.
Let's do it.
Do you know what it is?
Yep.
Training camp
It is here.
started today.
The beginning.
The beginning of it all.
Do y'all still get? Do you still get kind of tingly and itchy
Yeah,
and
I do.
anxious?
I do. So
I do at this time
So
for
I
no
was-
reason.
I
We
was-
stink.
Yeah.
I was training some of my NFL guys last week,
yeah.
and like they were all up in a thing. Oh, antsy! Oh no, we got
Yeah.
it. And I was like, thank God I don't have to do that no more.
Man, like, no, I was like, you know what? Like 2 days ago, I was in Chicago, just zoned out, and then some came on me like, oh,
whoa.
training camp this week, and I was like, oh my God, like it's just this.
Like spider senses are
Yeah,
tingling.
despite it, like it turned me on, and I'm like, man, you know what? Like it's game time now. Like, and I ain't in shape. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's, that's the worst thing you want to do. Show up not in shape. So I think we on the same clock as them. Now that we work, we
Yeah.
still on the same clock.
Yeah.
Definitely on the same clock. And one of the things that I'm loving about the seat I'm in now is I ain't got to worry about practicing. So yeah, I get that all that vibration, that tingly feeling. But look, I come here and chat a couple of times with you guys, and I'm back in the
We ain't got to worry about that test.
We ain't worry about no running, none of that stuff.
running
And the
test.
great thing about it is you guys can come out to training camp for free, I think, and watch practice and get that same vibe.
Yeah.
You know, some of you guys are high school football players, you know, maybe had in a while. Come out and get it here.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
Washington. Because, I mean, the vibes around the building right now, Fred, are
they are electric.
Yeah.
They are electric, and you can see it, man. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's on the up and up. The energy is different. Like, even with the players, man, like, so many guys did not even leave this summer. Like, we've been walking past these guys the whole entire summer. That tells me something is brewing, and you need to come see what The Rock got cooking.
Well, you got to think about it. It's new. You know what I mean? Like, you know, one of the things that you've been around organizations and teams where when you kind of basically change everything.
Clean slate protocol.
You got all these new bodies. You got these new staff. New building. Everything is kind of like new. So I'm getting that new feeling vibe. You know, that new car feel vibe.
Ooh, ain't nothing like that new car smell.
Well,
Your
that
car
new
could be
car
uglier
smell.
than mine, but I got that new car smell in there.
And Coach Dan Quinn was on the Get Loud
Get Loud
podcast.
podcast with me and Jinx.
And you coined a term that he's going to steal. And what is it called?
Building.
Yeah.
Everything about Washington Commanders started with the word building.
Which Tana just said, right?
I mean, we're building. Like, when y'all come watch training camp, y'all gonna notice these cranes and all these other stuff and these construction guys, because we're making this facility better because we're building. You're gonna see the guys, Adam Peters in the front office, them walking on the sideline, talking to other guys in the front office. You know why? Because they building. All right? And the owners, they won't be at practice all the time because they gonna be over at the game stadium trying to get it up to date because we building. So at the end of the day, we're moving forward, and to do that, sometimes you got to tear the old stuff down and build something new.
And that's what you were saying too, right? Like just that, like it's everything is new, everything's exciting, and I think one of the questions on here is what's the difference between this season and last season, and like literally everything is new. Like obviously the owner was here last year, but this is the first year that he's got to kind of
put his stamp on it,
get his people in there. We got Adam Peters, the team is new, the coaching staff is new, the buildings are new, and I think that does a lot to promote like optimism and energy. And Tana, I don't know if you've ever been a part of a team like this that's totally like reconstructed. Like was that how it was like when Mike was here?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I think we kept more guys than this staff did this year coming in, but you had that same feeling. Yeah. You know, and especially having a new quarterback in McNabb coming over that same year. So that was like something that was new for me and fresh, and just watching that guy, his career, playing against him in college. We was both in the Big East. He played at Syracuse. I was playing for Miami. And to have him coming in, it just opened my eyes. Like, look, I get a chance to learn from McNabb, seeing what he did over there with all those other guys in Philly.
And give you your first, I got me a concrete quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Fred, have you ever had anything like that?
Yeah, I played here most of my life. I've went through many rebuilds.
That's a question.
Every year was almost something
Have
new
you ever been here with a new owner? Anywhere you played, you ever go with a new owner?
I did. In Minnesota, Ziggy Wilf had just bought the team.
Okay.
From Red McComb.
And what was that like?
He was feeling his way out. I think what we got with this ownership group is these guys already own other teams.
Right.
When it came to Ziggy Wilf, they were brand new to sports. They had made their millions and billions doing something else, and now they into sports. So he was called. I watched him call around to owners and see, what should I do? First thing they told him is, you're going to have to get out the Metrodome. It stinks. We had the worst stadium in football. Now they got one of the best stadiums. They were like, you're going to have to rebuild their practice facility. One of the best practice facilities. So Ziggy Wilf and the Wilf family took their time to line everything up while still trying to put a competitive football team out there. And I think that's the big challenge with ownership is, I got to do a lot of business. Let me just lead the football to the football.
That's kind of definitely what it feels like here, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned with your building kind of rant you just went on. Is that okay to call it a rant?
Yeah. It's a rant.
Building rant.
Always a rant.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all these new things happening, and it just, if I've never been a part of a new ownership group before. And so to see it kind of from this angle and like all the things that are going into making this football team better, it's just, it's extremely exciting.
It's ridiculous. People got to understand, a calendar in football, that 12 months go by quick. We just blinked, and we were just finishing up the game last year, the last game of the year. Now we back here starting a fresh new year, and I don't think we see how fast it come as players. I think now that we done got older and we just took a step back, we like, man, these dudes don't really get but like a month and a half. I don't like. It's not really much to it. That's why I give love to all the players that say, you know what, I take a break when my career is over with. Like, I'm gonna stay disciplined the whole year round.
So obviously the newness is something to be pretty excited about. But Tana, what are you most excited to see in this training camp?
You know what? It might be hard for me to say this because I'm an offensive guy, but I'm looking forward to see our defense. I think our defense is really. I'm looking forward to. I want to see that tenacity that I saw Joe Witt and those guys play with over there in Dallas. You know, I feel that some of the things that we saw in minicamp and in OTAs, it just gave us a sneak peek of how things is going to be when they put on pads. And as we all know, we saw last training camp that our defense got out to a start and our offense had to catch up. That normally happens because the defense reacting to things. You know what I mean? Yeah. Offensively, if you're not putting your whole game plan in against your guys, things going to be generic. Yeah. So I think our defense being where they at right now, if I had to say today, who do I think have the better side without even watching them play, I would say defense. Yeah. I would say defense because you look at the leaders we have at linebacker. You look at the guy we have at the front line. You look at the guys we have in the back end. All those guys, I think they're considerably better than what we have offensively because, one, offensively, they have to gel. You have to know how to
timing is everything.
Call these plays, be on time with the ball. Yeah. You know what I mean? They have so much other things to learn. So normally defenses jump out in training camp. And being that we have a defense that's going to play with that tenacity, that kind of attitude that, Joe Witt spoke on, I'm pretty sure they're going to sharpen our offense, and I want to see our offense rise to the challenge.
And we got to see that today, and you guys can see that too when you tune into our live show of practice, which is on our YouTube page. Yes, Jason's giving me the yes, so make sure you check that out. It's awesome. We got great access, great coverage. So if you can't make it out to practice, make sure you join us to watch practice and watch that defense come to life, with us.
Can we all agree that a sandwich, right?
Is there something to agree to?
Yeah, listen.
Okay, sorry, you're not done.
Can we agree that the most important part of a sandwich
is
whatever it not
the white stuff.
you know it's good when that mayonnaise gets stirred right now. You know it's good. Now, the question is, the most important part of a sandwich is what's in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I can eat an open-faced sandwich with no bread, but it's still going to have the middle, right?
Yep.
All right. That's how defenses are. We get better when the middle of the defense is better.
All right, I get it. I get where we're going.
Think about San Francisco. They're linebackers.
Yeah.
Make everything else go. Think about the Baltimore Ravens, what they had with Queen them. Make everything go. Every time I bring up a top 5 defense, it's going to be some linebackers in there giving your team that identity.
Yeah.
Right, your defensive line, that's your intimidators.
Yeah.
Right, these are the guys that make the quarterback uncomfortable. But the linebackers make everybody uncomfortable. I'm talking about running back, linemen, wide receivers, tight ends. They reach out and touch everybody, AT&T. Yeah. So at the end of the day, no matter what we had last year, once you solidified that middle like that, that's a +2 for the front and a +2 for the back. Yeah. Meaning they're going to make them 2 times better because of what you got in the middle. And then you ain't just get talent. You got some brain trust in there too with Bobby Wagner. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, whatever they could have been last year, they're going to meet that peak this year.
Hey, man, you just put a smile on my face. You're pretty good, man, how you break stuff.
Dude, he's
peanut butter and jelly. Say, what a peanut and butter.
I got to give you your credit, man. You're all right.
And so for all your analytics nerds out there who are like, well, linebackers are devalued, they're not important.
No,
when you look at the analytics, now let's look at the math.
Yeah.
If you have a top 10 linebacker at the position.
Top 10 defense.
It elevates the defense. It elevates more than any other position on the defense. Yeah. So I know Fred says a lot of crazy stuff, but good linebackers and valuing them appropriately. And it's just about whether we think Bobby Wagner and Frankie Luvu are those top 10 type guys. Yeah. But I think they definitely could be.
Great linebacking core can cover up a bad pass rush and a bad coverage.
Yeah, hopefully. And especially, Frankie Luvu, his ability to rush the passer. Can't wait to watch that.
Jamie Davis. This is what I want everybody to understand. On Christmas, when we get those new toys, we love them new toys. But don't forget about the old toys. Right? Don't forget about the old toys. You remember that He-Man in the back that won't move from right there? You know what? He is just as fun as that new G.I. Joe you got. Right? So don't forget about Jamie Davis every time you say Frankie Luvu. Don't forget, when you say Bobby Wagner, don't you forget about Deron Payne. Yeah. People got to understand, for all the new pieces we got, the old ones, we kept the studs. Yeah. We kept the studs. And guess what gonna happen to them? Because everybody got better around them. They will get better. Yeah. So don't forget about Jamie Davis and the rest of those old heads. Yeah.
And so for me, high level, again, linebackers, defense in general, love both of those. I'm just excited to see kind of the staff come together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And how they kind of guide practice and guide the joint practices and guide the preseason, and because like as much as the team's got to gel, they got to gel too. And if they gel, kind of in the same way, like good coaching can elevate bad players. Or I think that's something that I think this staff is capable of doing. But it's about how they come together and
over or under, because we know how it is. It gets chippy.
Fights
over or under. No. This ain't even a fight. This is going to be a verbal sparring. You know the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Over and under. How many days before Cliff Kingsbury and Witt go verbal?
Hold on. For some reason, I don't see that in Witt, though. He seemed like one of those guys, he can, even though he might get fired up, he know how to bring it. You know.
So you can see him taking the lift from Cliff and just looking at him.
But Cliff's pretty quiet, though, too, though.
He looks like one of those guys that he might hop on his guys.
Yeah, but he ain't
worried about that. He ain't worried about no coach. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question, though.
Because everybody get the ball.
So since you say over and under, I'm going to say
3 days, 4 days?
No, I'm going to say I take the under, but I say.
So you take the over, you mean?
I mean, I said, I take the over. I take the over. But I don't think I don't think I'm going to see it at all.
I think we're going to see it because I can see Kingsbury.
But you know what we saw?
Is the head coach.
Now, if they get into a fight, if they get into a fight, which I think that might happen, because we talked about this. When
Cliff and
the defense offense, not the coaches, not the coaches.
I was like, God,
if because we talked about hearing the guys say, man, I'm competing more now. Like, it's competitive.
I'm dead serious.
A lot different than what it was before in the past.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, most of the teams that I've been on that had great talent. We got into little sparring matches here and there. You know what I mean? So if now I would see a coach saying, hey, man, get your guys.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to talk about hurting nobody. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, the only time we saw it get chippy during OTAs and minicamp was when the players, I think it was Terry or somebody, started talking to the defensive sideline.
Yeah.
That was the only time it got a little chippy.
But we know that's coming. We know that's coming during training camp. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the defense that sparks it out.
You're going to say, you're saying 4 days, is it?
I'm saying.
So what do you take?
I'm saying 3 days or less before the first scuffle.
I think if you were like, I think 6 is probably.
No, I'm gonna say 3 days because
you still like each other after 3 days, man.
Witt gonna have them playing so fast with their hair on fire, and it's gonna be one vet or two be like, "Hey man, you need to slow down, you need to calm down." No, this is how we play, dog. This new world. This is what we gonna do. Something's gonna happen. Yeah. Something's
gonna happen. It's gonna be from the players more so than the coaches.
Yeah, but
I think you got to think about it. DQ is one of those guys too, man. That
he's fired up.
He already fired up.
He's fired up, but I will say, playing
I'm sure he's going to tell them guys like, look, we don't need you guys out of control.
Yeah,
because you got to tame your guys so they don't see us going at each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Dan is he's an emotional, passionate guy, right? Likes football. Yeah. But if you got in a fight down in Atlanta, watch out.
Yeah.
Fighting. He
wasn't with that.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. Fight's good for morale, man.
Yeah.
Day 6, 7 at camp. Let's get it going a little bit.
It's great for morale.
Swap a little paint.
Yeah.
It showed us in college, and I know this is different, but it showed us in college who we were. As soon as one broke out in the field, coaches broke that thing up, sent us up to our rooms. And I remember that same receiver coach I had that story about I was telling you about. He came to me, he said, "Ooh, I found my dogs."
You got a dog. You got to let dogs off the leash.
He said, "I found my dog. He was sitting here the whole time. He was barking, but I found him. I saw him out there in the heat of the battle." And he say, "And now I know who want to go to war." And that's it. It set the table. You know what I'm saying?
I remember when Chad Morton first walked up on the practice field. I'm barking at him. I'm barking at him. I see a dog with a tail tucked between his legs. I got to get at him. Listen, man, that's the fun part of football.
Yeah.
What other sport besides boxing do you get to take off your aggression on your teammate?
It is a special sport.
It's a special sport.
It's a special sport.
Thank Jesus.
So we talked a lot about coaches there, high-level stuff. Now let's talk about the players on this roster specifically. So I think, one of the things about training camp and off season is everyone's like, who's going to make the team? Who's going to make the team?
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to tell today.
Yeah.
But I do think there are guys that that are going to make the team.
The obvious, right?
Yeah. So I went through and on my little spreadsheet here. So
by the way, that's a great spreadsheet.
It is. Before we even start this, I just want to tell everybody this because I'm tired of my aunties, Even my daughters. I'm tired of my friend. Don't call me about Sam Hartman, all right? All right, I'm through with it, all right? I don't know if he's single. I don't know. But you got to stop asking me, all right? Now I know how my teammates felt when I was on the team.
Oh,
now
what?
I know how my teammates
No one
felt. They were
thought
like,
that.
have y'all seen Fred Hartman? Like, yeah. Well, yeah, here I am over here. You know? Listen, I'm sick and tired. I was in the grocery
shoot him down.
I was in the grocery store yesterday in the fruit section.
And someone thought you were Sam Hartman?
No. No, they did. They like, Fred, how you doing? What you think we're gonna do this year? I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna be good. I cannot wait.
You were in the fruit section?
Fruit section, you know, I was buying fresh fruit. And then she like, by the way, what about that Sam Hartman? I'm like, what about it? Then I can see this lady over to another lady that went in with her like, Sam Hartman? I'm like, oh my God, is it like this? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I seen people at the combine looking at him run down the field in his hair in slow motion, bounce up and down. It's something to watch.
Something
I'm
to
sorry.
It. Something to
I
it.
don't know, man. Hey.
Hey, I don't know. Hey.
We have these guys that make the team like this all the time. That's
Because they're attractive?
Listen,
Hey, is Sam Hartman a regular
football face?
Is Sam Hartman a regular quarterback name or a plus?
That's different, man. I ain't met but one Sam Hartman. That's a different name.
All right.
That's a different name.
You saying always the names, they'll tell you who a football
I think,
player is, right?
So
come on, a heartthrob named Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
Oh, heartthrob February. I should be his agent. I can get him all kind of contracts. Imagine giving your girl a Sam Hartman card for Valentine's Day.
Jason.
So speaking of Sam, my wife's best friend went to Notre Dame. So she's a big Notre Dame fan.
Tell us the true history.
Yeah. So my wife goes, hey, can my friend and I come and meet Sam Hartman? I was like, your friend can. Your friend certainly can.
But you said
You're
no to your
staying at
wife.
home.
You know what's funny? Is I told Kelly, my wife, that same story. She's like, how attractive can this guy be? She pulls out her phone, I'm watching her. She goes, oh my.
Listen, all y'all on the constant attack from Sam Hartman right now. I really do love this. Now I know how people feel when I got here as a rookie. I really do understand that. Thank you. Dude. Constant threat. I love it. Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman. All right, so
Lord have mercy.
We took a little detour there.
I knew Fred gonna get himself involved in that some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
I told you, like, I haven't been under this much attack with questions in a long time. I'm like, do y'all think he gonna start or something? I'm like, no, he's a rookie backup.
That's all they want to see.
They was like, you know,
they just hope he make the roster where he can wear uniform.
Yeah, my agent was like, oh, it's just, I like.
Okay.
What? Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
The way the segment started was to talk about people that were going to for sure make the team. Yeah. Sam Hartman is not one of those people.
I got a feeling.
If we start on offense, the way I look at it, I say Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Luke McCaffrey, receivers. Right? They're going to make the team.
I say
sure?
guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Out the gate.
And then I said probably OZ. Right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't want to guarantee number
okay.
3.
All right. So then we go Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, John Bates.
Yeah,
we go with
Bates
that.
Best blocker. Sinnott just drafted. Ertz best tight end.
All right, then we go offensive line. Guaranteed. Cornelius Lucas, Brandon Coleman.
Yep.
Nick Algoretti.
Yep.
Tyler Biotish.
Yep.
Sam Cosme.
Yep.
Andrew Wiley.
Yep.
Brian Robinson Jr. Austin Eckler.
True that.
Yeah. And then Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
And I think those guys. So that's 15 guys. I think those guys for sure make the team.
All right. I'm
right?
with you
on offense. Does that make sense? So then if we go to receiver. And you say, and everyone's like, oh, what's the position battle? What's going on?
Ain't no battle. Terry number 1.
No, right. Terry,
Jahan number 2.
Jahan.
Yeah. And we still don't know who number 3 is. Let's just totally be honest. Even though he's gonna make team as a draftee, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Is he the true number 3 yet.
Right. But then I look and I say, of the receivers, I think OZ is probably going to make it.
All right.
Because
you think he'll be number 3?
Because the reason I think that is because I think he can return kicks and so can Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And then you say, then for all you fans watching at home, keeping track of receivers now you've got about 12 guys who are fighting for 2 spots.
So
and you got one of those, a veteran returner is Jameson Crowder that showed that I got some left in the tank.
But if those other 2 guys can return,
then all right, that separates.
So here, just so you know, we got Dax Milne, De'Ami Brown, Mitchell Tinsley, Damiere Byrd, Devon Davis, Bryson Tremaine, Rosemary Jack Saint, Casimir Allen. So 8 guys.
Casimir Allen is a returner.
But I'm saying if those other 2 guys can return, do you just cross those guys off the list? Those other guys.
I think it's a wide open race now.
But I think that's what I'm saying. When people say, "Oh, it's a position battle," it's like those first 3 guys.
Yeah.
And my question would be too is, and this is just because you can do this with both groups. You can do this with the running backs too. If one of those receivers can return kicks and punts,
right?
Now it makes his chances greater.
That's a great point.
They do Kaz Allen.
Yeah.
They do Kaz Allen. Now, but which one of the receivers play gunner? Is the next question.
Yeah. So then you go like Diami and then Bryson Tremaine play gunner.
Yep.
And then Roseby Jack Saint before the hamstring played gunner.
Yep.
So it gets real tight real quick, and that's why everyone says. I was listening to a show today, and they were like, "Oh, why does special teams matter? Why is it so hard to play special teams?" And let me just say, you played teams, I played teams,
everybody
you played teams.
Yeah.
It is hard to play special teams.
For that one play. In between all those other plays.
And like you got to be a little bit messed up in the head to play teams. And so when we go through this list and we're like, "Oh, this guy can play teams, but this guy might not be able to," it's because you're looking for that physicality, that toughness, that grit, that want to.
Yep.
And that's why I think even though we got 4 guys, we got Terry, Jahan, Luke, and OZ making the team, and we'll see. Those 4, those remaining 2 spots, 3 spots, the guys got to play a little bit of special teams.
No, they got to play a lot of special teams.
But you know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, they got to be good on teams. So that's where, like, again, that battle comes into. So when you're a fan watching the receivers, it's like, ooh, Mitchell Tinsley caught that pass.
Touchdown.
But I'm watching Bryson Tremaine make a tackle as a gunner.
Yeah.
And which is going to be more valuable in the end? Probably the latter.
Yeah, because he ain't going to have a chance to catch all those passes.
Correct.
And what people got to understand, the mindset of special teams, I want y'all to do this first. Everybody that gets drafted from college was the star on their team. I don't care how small that school was. I don't care how big that school was. They will not play. They ain't played special teams since high school. Like people get to the league, haven't played special team from high school, and now this is how you're gonna make a team.
Yeah,
like if the starter's gonna have to play special teams, you're gonna have to play special teams. That's what makes special teams so hard. And another thing about it, it's gonna be this select group of guys who only make their money from special teams, and they will bend you over backwards.
I tell folks all the time, though, man, you can always tell the good programs because it didn't matter how much of a star you was offensively or defensively. Like I literally in the Florida State game, 2 touchdowns, I done scored and 100-something net yards. I was the flyer. I was running down there making tackles. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have those big games, coaches call upon certain guys like, look, you gonna be
I need to play from you.
You my gunner, you my flyer. You know what I mean? You one of those guys that because we need every guy on the field that's going to make a difference in each phase. So. That's why it's an easier transition for some of those guys come from big schools because
we gonna have to play.
They had to play special teams. You know what I mean? So you got to take a chance on those guys. So the ones who don't fit that quota, then they won't be on the team.
No,
and
special teams is special.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys I think on this roster that can do something,
especially for receiver.
I've been saying every play, every series starts and ends with special teams.
Yeah.
Not offense. Not defense. Start with special team. It ends with special team.
So another group that I think is really interesting is the offensive line because they usually keep 9, but there's a lot of dudes here.
Yeah.
And again, like there's names like like Chris Paul or whoever, Braden Daniels, guys that were drafted.
Yeah.
But like this new staff,
clean slate protocol.
They got no love for you.
Yeah,
I hate to break like
I got no love for you. I got beat down.
Yeah. this guy right here. Yeah, this guy throw.
But you know what I'm saying though? It's like everyone says, "Oh, like he was a draft pick last year or whatever it was." And it's like they don't care.
Yeah.
They want the best 9 guys to play. So we just went through Cornelius Lucas, Brandon Coleman, Nick Algoretti, Tyler Biadasz, Sam Cosmi, Andrew Wiley. After that, throw it up in the air.
No, and I think that's for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think as offensive lineman, you got to feel good about that because you don't feel like no favorites finna get played.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
All you can ask for. Like, I got a clean slate. And I want to tell people this because I love my sports talk radio and I listen to it all the time, but I hate one-track-minded people that think just because something happened last year, this is who you are. No. This offensive line has a chance to be 10 times better than they was last year. It was so many variables in there. All them sacks won Sam. All them sacks won the offensive lineman. You don't know what the offensive scheme is. You don't know if we move in the pocket more.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is. Stop saying what the weakness of the team is before the season even start. That makes me sick to my stomach because what used to be your strength last year could easily be your weakness this year.
Yeah. And so, like, for this one, I think the one thing we're going to talk about is left tackle here because you got Trent Scott, Cornelius Lucas, Brandon Coleman, all kind of vying for the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think, like, to your point, like, we don't really know what the offense is going to look like. So I think Like, for example, if you want to throw the ball out, you probably want Cornelius to play, right? If you want to run the ball more, you probably want Trent Scott to play, right? And if Brandon Coleman develops, and that's a big piece, right, in terms of developmental guys. But that's one. Running back, to me, seems pretty straightforward for the top 2 guys.
Yeah, but then what happens with Chris Rodriguez and Wiley and the rest of these dudes? Because you said something that I think the people on this team have to really say, you know what, I'm so happy we got new coaches, but I understand ain't no love here.
Yeah.
Meaning they only going to take the people who allow them to keep their job as a starting coach in this league.
Yeah.
If you keep me hired, I'm good.
And so that's one that I think is really interesting because, I love Chris Rodriguez. I thought he did a great job last year.
Just saw him today, boy. Put together, man.
Big old hoss, right?
No diddy.
But I think they also like Michael Wiley and Austin Jones. Those two UDFAs.
She just did.
So I think it's and then obviously Jeremy McNichols too at running back.
Yeah.
Any one of those guys, depending on what they want at the position.
Yeah.
And depending on what they already got, because I'm one of those people that is I can't repetitively get the same skill set.
Yeah.
Like you got to think about it. B-Rob, to me, he a little bit of slasher. He a little bit of brawler. He's a little bit
Catch the ball.
He can catch the ball.
Dude, that last day of minicamp, the way he caught the football in the seam, it looked like a tight end, man. He did a great job.
Yeah, so when I look at B-Rob, I don't look at him as just a A-gap, B-gap run. I look at a guy that can do everything. Now you got Eckler, maybe on the back end, but still a great slasher, still a great pass blocker, still can catch out the backfield. So now you say, okay, do we want to change a pace back as the third back? Or do we want a power back since we already got that?
Yeah.
Or do we want something that Wiley brings to the that's the thing about it. Like,
that's a great point.
And then especially with an offensive mind like Kingsbury. Like, he's used to his running backs being part of the receiving corps.
Yeah.
So if you're not a back that catches a lot, does that work against you?
I think I couldn't say it better myself. That's exactly right. And what's interesting too is that third back is probably competing with the fourth tight end. So he's competing with Armani Rogers, Cole Turner, Colston Yankoff. And if you're going to keep 4, I think all those guys have a legitimate shot of making the team. You know what I'm saying? Because it just depends on what we want to be, right? Colston Yankoff played a little bit of running back, could play a little fullback, good teams player, perfect guy. You got Armani Rogers, kind of the physical freak. But that's the tough part about rosters and why camp is so important. I know we saw the first day today. But, like, it's all these pieces competing with each other.
But when you bring up a guy like Yankoff, what about the scenarios where you feel like a guy, he there, but he ain't ready really to play, but I know if I cut him.
We
don't, somebody's going to sign him.
Somebody's going to pick him up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, Fred, because I think he was so badly miscast at UCLA. He was playing running back.
Yeah.
Straight running, like not fullback.
Tailback.
Yeah, tailback. And I'm sure a lot of people were like, he's not a tailback, whatever. Yeah. So I think the fact that he is kind of going to be under the radar for a lot of teams, I hope you could get him a practice squad. But if you think you're going to lose him and he has a good camp.
But just not him, but what about the other, let's say 5 players that's right there on that bubble where your guy in front of you might be outplaying you, but I'd rather not lose you and lose him. To keep, like, so it's
I'm glad you said the word bubble. Like, what does that mean to you, Tana? When you hear the word bubble, what does that mean?
Well, I don't even know. I only think of one bubble. You either gonna be here or you ain't.
That's exactly right.
But it's gonna bust.
You the guy on the you on the cuss. You that guy. You know what I mean? Because when I think of bubble, I think about that guy as like, hey man, you may have been here and you've been that guy once upon a time, but now you're in the bubble. Now it's not a for sure thing for you.
Yeah.
Or you may be a guy that we just brought in and you on the bubble to making the team. You know what I mean? So you have different ways to look at it, but both of them
Where's the arrow pointed at that bubble? But to me, when I say bubble, that means you on the rim. And you can fall in with the group.
Or you can fall out.
Same difference. With the group. You might be one injury away from locking on this team. You one healthier guy away from not even being on the team. Like, so when you say bubble, I say circumstances. When you say bubble, I say your circumstances might work in your favor. I just seen guys be a bubble guy for 10 years. But I also see guys be on the bubble for 3 days and never play again, never be in the league. So when they say bubble, you on the cusp, and the problem is then, are you special on any special teams? Like, we keep coming back to special teams. If you on the bubble, what's going to make you better than that next man positionally? What do you do on special teams?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I was a bubble guy for majority of my career, probably 10 years, 9-10 years, and it's stressful and tough. But it comes down to, like, can we trust you? Do you fill a role? Like, can you play teams if we need you to in a pinch? 100%. So lots of things.
I was out there with my kids in Chicago blowing bubbles, saying Logan, saying your name.
And they would pop, and they would pop.
Look at them Logans in there. Yeah. He might make it, he might not.
Hell yeah. So we just did the offense. We're going to run through the defense real quick.
Yep.
So this is just me. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I got Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. Derzon Newton is interesting because if he starts on the PUP, which we found out
which I probably say he does,
right?
But he got a roster spot.
No, because it's a college injury. He'd start on the non-football injury list.
Yeah.
What is that? NIF.
Is that a 4-week or 6-week mandatory?
I don't know. But he's on that, so that saves you a roster.
Used to be like 6 to 8 weeks, right?
I think it's 6 weeks legit.
But that saves you a roster spot.
Yeah, most definitely.
So just keep that in mind when I'm doing this count.
Yeah.
Then you got Cleveland Farrell, Frankie Louvu,
they'll be there.
Bobby Wagner, Jordan McGee.
Yep.
Mike Sanders still, Quan Martin.
Yep. Jamin Davis.
Benjamin St. Juste. See, we'll talk about that in a second. Jeremy Chin, Dominique Hampton, and then we got Emmanuel Forbes and Davis.
And did you say Defoe?
He's on here. DeForest and Percy were the other guys. I have question marks next to them.
Ooh, see, yours is getting very intriguing because a couple of question marks you got. I think
Yeah. So let's talk about it. And we're not saying these people are going to make the team, but
no. This is.
But just to give you an idea, that's 17 guys.
Yeah.
So I feel like those guys are going to probably make the team. Right. Now it's about, like, if we look at the D line.
Yep.
Right. Let's go start there. Right. You got John Ridgeway versus Big Phil versus really Norrell Pollard, the rookie from Virginia Tech, and Benny Potoae, right? And so obviously if Jerzon's healthy, you only keep one of those guys.
Ridgeway. Ooh.
But right? I think so too.
I'm just saying, Ridgeway has shown me I'll be there when you need me. Tell me, I don't care if it's the 97th play in the game and it's my first play. I am ready.
Yeah. And obviously Dan Quinn and his staff drafted him to Dallas.
In Dallas, yes.
They know him really well. The other one I just want to kind of highlight here is Norrell Pollard, because he has a ton of. Remember, he had the highest pass rush running percentage.
Virginia Tech, right?
I think it was the third in the nation.
I watched the kid.
And talk about someone with juice.
Yeah.
Dude's got juice. And so guys with juice, they tend to make the team. They just find, like your Clemens story.
Yeah.
You were telling us before the show started.
He got juice.
Might make the team. So just.
But could he be one of those guys that make the practice squad and just be, you know what I mean?
Maybe, and then like up and down?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But he one of them sneaky guys that other people wanted to sign.
Yeah.
So how we got Ridgeway? How we stole him from the Cowboys? We can put him on the practice squad. No, you can't. Because we finna bring him up.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's one of those guys, if he get going, he won't make it to our practice
So what
squad.
I'm saying is, like, all those dudes after those first three guys are in a competition for one spot. And obviously if Jerzon's, I think he is on that list, that college injury list, you keep one more. But there is a world where Fedarian Mathis doesn't make this team.
No, most definitely.
Yeah.
And then
or John Ridgeway.
Or Ridgeway. I would say our Ridgeway or somebody else. Put it like this. I talked about it with Coach Quinn doing the Get Loud podcast. Make sure you watch for that with me and Michael Jenkins.
Great promo.
We talked about good teams have to cut good players.
Absolutely.
And he was like, you can't be afraid of it.
Yeah. And so I think just to give you the landscape of that, edge rusher, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Cleveland Farrell. I mean, I think, honestly, you probably keep five there. So I think KJ Henry, Andre Jones are in. Because I think
they are in.
I think FA starts on the PUP list. And then Jean-Baptiste, the 7th-round pick, probably gets the practice squad.
Try to get him on the practice squad.
Unless he balls out, then he makes it.
I think you want to bulk him up. That was his thing in college. He was long, strong, but didn't have enough weight.
Yeah. And now, okay, so that's it. I think we feel good about that. But all of those guys are competing for a spot.
Yeah, they are.
Like, who's got the most juice? Who fits the role? Linebacker, same thing. Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, Jordan McGee. And I'd probably put Anthony Pittman above Jamin Davis.
Lord.
Just think about this, though. Think about this. He's a guy who needs a lot of reps to play linebacker. And you're like, oh, man, put him next to Bobby Wagner. That'd be great. He's going to learn a lot. He played edge rusher this whole offseason.
That's what I want him to be. I've been waiting for him to be an edge rusher for the long. Like, think about
so,
this.
Fred, let me just say this to you before you get on your soapbox.
From my high horse.
Go ahead and talk to her.
When was the last time you saw somebody switch positions?
He's not switching
in the offseason. He is. He's playing defensive end. and make the team?
I have seen it a million times.
When was
This
the
is what
last
I'm
time?
talking. This is what I'm talking about. You can't even tell us what's our initial. What defense are we running? Do you know?
It's based
Multiple fronts.
Yeah, multiple fronts.
We run multiple fronts. What they saw in that film is if I ask Jamin Davis to check running backs out the backfield, he can.
Mm-hmm.
If I ask him to stand up and run sideline to sideline, he can. I've watched it for 3 years. What I want to see him do is use this 4.4 speed to get and rush the passer. All right? I know he can do the other things. He's proven to me he can do them. Not at a Pro Bowl level, but he can do them at a pros level.
Yeah.
I think what they're saying is, even with Frankie Louvu, as much as I've seen them move him around, I think they're going to have these guys. Imagine this. Picture this. What we think is a defensive end on this team, the Cleveland Pharaohs, outside of these guys would be a Frankie Louvu and a Jamin Davis.
Well, we saw that already, too.
I know what they want to do. They want to get speed matched up on this. All right? With Wagner and what's his name sitting back as the perennial stand-up backers.
So the reason I say he's a question mark to me, in addition to this position change, is I agree with you. I think they do want speed on the field.
Yeah.
So why not put Dominique Hampton, Percy Butler, Derek Forrest, Jeremy Chin, Mike Sanders still as that extra linebackers. When you watch Dallas last year, they're in dime a
But guess
ton.
what? But they weakness.
They were bringing guys like Fowler in.
And they would curse.
Yeah, just bringing different guys in.
You was getting ran on them. And I talked to them. They were like, the one thing that we didn't have right at Dallas, we didn't have enough running dudes on the second level.
Yeah.
That's why they got bigger backers here to be able to take on the run. They don't want to get gutted like that.
Yeah.
Yes, they did play like that. They said, we got the right idea. We just got the wrong personnel. We need to figure out the personnel on the field.
I'm kind of with Fred on that. I think Jamin's one of those guys that he's so athletic. He's athletic.
Gifted.
He's very gifted, and you can see last year was probably his best year that no one gave him credit for.
And he was still getting used the wrong way.
Playing linebacker, and probably wasn't playing his best. You know what I mean? Like, he's a guy that I don't think he still hasn't reached his ceiling. And that's
not even close.
It's still there. You know what I mean? So I won't be against. I think he gonna go out there and raise a lot of eyebrows, showing you that look, I can do this. I can do this, because now he's in a situation. He look like a football player. He's a guy that just put him on the field on defense and
Let
say,
me go chase,
run wild.
Yes,
you know, and that's what I've seen from him at the linebacker positions. Half of the time he knows what he's doing, half the time he doesn't. But he's somewhere around the ball. You see what I'm saying?
So I guess that's what I'm. In terms of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Like, does he do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they got guys like Pittman had a really good offseason. He had multiple interceptions, played linebacker. Louvu McGee, really good offseasons. Obviously, Bobby had a good offseason. And they were playing linebacker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something as a fan, when I come in and I'm watching this and I'm looking at what they did in the spring, look what they're doing now. It's like, where does he have a role?
Yeah.
Does he fit? Does he do what you're describing? Or does he not pick up the pass rush stuff?
No, I think he picks up the pass rush stuff. It reminds.
But you get what I'm saying, though, right?
It reminds me of the Chris Clement thing. That's why I'm so glad you brought Chris up.
Yeah.
They are the same body build. Like, people thought Chris was too small to play D.
Wasn't
I
Chris like
damn sure
6'6"?
thought he was just like he was talking like a basketball player.
He's a tweener, all right?
Yeah.
And so they had Chris standing up at the beginning of training camp.
Yeah.
They let him rush the passer against Chris Samuels one practice. After that, I have never seen Chris Clemens stand up again. You know why? They understand when his hand is in the dirt, when he comes off of this ball, that first step is quicker than anything you can see. So what I'm saying is, I think what they saying is, with Jamin, he's been used wrong. Let's use him right and see, can we get it all out of him? I think they're more excited about Jamin than most people think they are.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, I really do, because I want these guys to make the team. I'm fans of these guys.
Yeah, because you said a couple names on defense. I was like, oh.
But you got, like, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, they have no tie to him.
Yeah, no, they don't.
If it don't work, it don't work.
No, it doesn't. But I know they have a tie to good talent, and I think he's a good talent.
Yeah.
So I think linebacker, obviously, because of Jamin Davis, is really interesting.
Yeah.
And like just how the depth chart shakes out, right? And then I look at the defensive backs, and it's like, I don't know what they're gonna do. It just, I think on the outside, I said Benjamin St. Juste, right? Seems that way.
You know what? I can say this about the Juice Man.
Yeah, talk to me about him.
All right, and this is gonna be true, and it's gonna always hold up. He's with Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn loves tall, long arm corners. I talked to him coming out of school.
Yeah.
He was not infatuated by nothing else about me besides my arms. All right?
Did he really? He talked to you coming out of school?
Just
Dan
arms,
did?
arms.
Where was he?
Where was he? He was in not at Green Bay.
Was he in Seattle?
Was he at Green Bay?
Was he?
He was at somewhere, but
he talked to you coming out.
He like that's why he had Brown and Browner
Yeah.
and Richard Sherman. Like he said, Richard was just so good at jamming, but I wasn't gonna let Richard play in space. He likes corners now, but he does love corner with these. He loves hands. Like he's about turnovers. And if I look at a guy and say, who's more predicated to have a great year, not a good year in this defense corner-wise, is it Forbes or is it St. Juste? To me, it's Forbes. Forbes is the corner they like because they like X-Y receivers.
Yeah.
They like X-Y receivers who get their ball. They don't care about you getting beat.
Yeah.
You're going to get beat. But if we get to mid-season and let's say we get to the 10th game and St. Juste has no interceptions, we're used to that.
Yeah.
And everybody that studied him, he has 2 interceptions in his last 7 years of his career going back to college.
Yeah.
I don't think that does it for Witt.
Yeah.
Witt like his corners to get the ball back.
So who's the starting pair, you think?
I think the starting pair is going to be St. Juste and Forbes.
Right.
Off of length alone.
But no Davis then, huh?
Davis, I think, is your third guy in the outside rotation.
Sure.
All right. In the inside rotation, I think Sanders Greer gonna get reps. But I think it'll start off more play safety also. Quan.
You think Quan will be the nickel?
I think Quan will start off the nickel while he rotates at safety. Yeah. I think they want to start him off at safety. Corner. So when they do start putting him at safety, you wonder where he's at. He's your piece.
You're saying Quan.
Quan is. Yeah.
So I look at that and I say, that seems pretty straightforward. And obviously, like Noah Monogany is probably in the mix there at some point. But
Mike Davis, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's out there too.
But
I was going to say Davis is one of those guys I can see out there.
Yeah, but then you got Jeremy Chin, Dominique Hampton, Jeremy Reeves, Derek Forrest, Percy Butler, Quan Martin, and those are the kind of safeties. And to me, safety is maybe the most compelling position because it seems like they all are a lot of those guys will play. 5 of those guys will play in this defense.
So you
Jeremy
think,
Reeves.
so yeah, I was going to say, I see Forrest playing though. I think Forrest come back and get his job.
Do you start again?
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing that we're trying to do with this exercise is like, we don't know. And that's what
But that's a good thing.
We don't know.
That's a good thing that we don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's something I'm excited to see is, the Jamin Davises, like how does the defensive tackle shake out? But number one on defense, to me, safety.
Yeah.
Because they use everybody. They got dimes, they got nickels, they got big safety linebackers, they got pass rushing linebackers, they rotate these 3 kind of in the back end. Jeremy Chin coming in, who's got like this perfect body type for what they want to do. So I don't know. And then a guy that I think could be disruptive on the outside is Chinoge Inuzium, the kid from Colorado State.
All right, say that again.
Chinoge, no, that's wrong.
You said it right the first time.
Chinoge Inuzium? I know Inuzium is correct.
Papa Paulson. Y'all, this the Paulson y'all sent us? Papa Paulson.
This is it.
All the Paulsons
I'm the
in
one.
the world. The academic accolades of the Paulsons, and this the Paulson we get? All right, I'm fine with it.
So obviously we talked about who's on the bubble, who needs to improve with all that stuff. Really excited to watch how offense, defense develops.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about, we got a lot of fans coming out to training camp.
Yeah.
Let's teach them how to watch practice.
Yeah,
Let's do that. Let's do that.
So what are the steps in training camp evaluation? Tana, do you want to start? Because I know Fred has been talking this whole time.
He has been talking too much. I think one of the things that stands out to me, I wrote it down, but I won't even go. I just should be at the top of my head still. And this is just from being a receiver. Some of the things I thought they was watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they kind of evaluating what they're seeing, I think they watching to see how can we transfer what we learned in the classroom to the field. That's one step.
Yes.
Our one-on-one competition battles, our battles one-on-one wise. And then how are you in that team setting? How many plays you're making individually? Do you have your alignment in your assignment? And when the ball coming your way, do you make your play? And when the ball is not coming your way, do you go out there and make sure you're protecting or blocking back side and all that stuff? As a receiver, that's the kind of evaluation that I think that we go through far as, from I guess you can say a coaching level.
If a fan's watching practice, what should they look out for?
So if a fan watching practice, they should watch. For the most part, fan watching the guys who they like. You know what I mean? They're not really caring about.
But I'm saying if I'm like,
if you try to teach them, say, hey, this is how you take the most out of NFL practice. By watching this, and this.
Yeah. So this is how I would say look at it like this. If I'm telling the fan when you come into practice and you come and check it out, watch the guys that's holding the water. I'm being funny. Watch the guys that's holding the water because the guys that holding the water normally going to the guys that's making the plays.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is elite. This is elite.
That's third level stuff I'm giving y'all right
I'm being funny, but at the same time, I'm telling you, the guys that's holding water going to the guys that's making the plays that's going out on the field. But to be on the upside of just seeing, it's gonna be phases in practice. And like I said before, you're gonna get the different drills, one-on-one battles, watching the one-on-one battles. You're gonna get your oohs and your ahs from there. Then when you get to the team periods, you watching your guys. Whoever your guy is offensively, whoever your guy defensively. But to me, I don't think a fan really comes to practice trying to look at, who's doing what. They're gonna watch everybody and just want some damn autographs after the game anyway. And then when you tell them this guy staying on the team and this guy getting cut, then they're gonna settle for that or be all right with it. But I don't think they're out there really trying to evaluate, who's going to make the squad. You tell me, Fred.
I think this is what you got to do. First of all, fans, keep up with the schedule. Understand the schedule of practice. Once you understand the schedule of practice, understand what's relevant and what's irrelevant.
They ain't looking at all that.
What's relevant?
I'm going to start out with what's not relevant.
Okay, what's not relevant?
When we scratching before practice. That's not relevant, all right? That's not relevant. Now, individuals. You'll see us do our individual drills, and it's boring to y'all. Mm-hmm. This backpedaling, this cutting, this coming out of breaks, this doing this tedious running this route, getting at the top of the block stem. Like, y'all not going to be into that. Now, when we get into the one-on-ones, competition, that's when y'all are going to start to really get your ears are going to start to perk up.
Oohs and ahs.
All right, first of all, I like how they do one-on-ones because they do 2-on-2s here, where they do wide receiver and slot versus corner and slot. All right, so I enjoy that. Make sure you watch that. So now you get to see people work without all 11 being on the field. Of course, you love to see Jaden drop in that 60-yard route where they warming up with the wide receiver. It look good. It feel good. Don't worry about him doing that on one-on-one because he go the truth about one-on-one. The wide receiver got the whole damn field, all right, and we got nothing. All right, let's just be honest. If you a cornerback close to that wide receiver, when he catch that ball and knock it down, you did your job. Next, all you need to worry about is team drills. Mm-hmm. All right, when I say team drills, when you see 7-on-7 happen.
Sorry, would you say that's the most important thing?
I was going to say.
For the fans.
For the fans. So, no, I would say. And I don't want to take you out.
No, you're fine.
7-on-7 is what the fans like more because you got to think in team, especially if we're not thudding, we're not hitting.
Yeah.
Them watching a running back run through the hole and not get tackled, it's like, okay, golf clap. You know what I mean? 7-on-7 when you're seeing those guys really rerunning routes against each other. So I would think a 7-on-7 matchup would be more exciting for the fan base. Yeah. But I don't think the team would be something that they're looking forward to because we're not really live. You know what I mean?
Not really live, but I think once they see us all in unison, in action, like that's where they get the oohs and ahs. Even at the back not getting hit, but if they just toss him a pitch and he faked one guy, like that's what they want to see. That's where the lights, the cameras are flashing. That's where everything's happening. All I can say is this: take it in like a practice. Yeah. Don't leave this practice like, this dude ain't this dude ain't. It's a practice. All right.
But in terms of those like bottom half of the roster guys, in terms of evaluation, in my opinion, team periods is where you're gonna get the most eval because they're playing football. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you're a fan, you want to be like a scout, get your notebook out, right? It's hard now because there's no replays, they're all going at the same time. Yeah. But like let's say you're watching Brandon Coleman, right? Everyone's excited about him. Watch all his pass rush reps, not in one-on-ones, because he's going to lose some of those. Yeah. How does he do in team? Yep. Does he get the combinations communicated? Is he targeting runs correctly? That's where you get a better evaluation. Receivers, same thing like you were saying, Tanner, right? Because they're playing ball. Are they running routes to win versus coverage? Because in one-on-ones or 7-on-7, there's no play action fake, so the linebackers just get under the window, right? Yep. Is he getting open in those settings? And I think that, to me, like so when someone catches the ball in 7-on-7, I'm like, great, cool. Someone catches the ball in one-on-ones, cool, you won versus man coverage. That's important. You get it in team, and you're getting touches in team. I think that those I weigh those reps more because it's more football specific.
And you feel like it been game plan.
Hell yeah!
Stop.
And that sounds like a guy who coaches. Yeah. I mean, you can tell. You know what I mean? Because I'm just gonna be real with you. Like I know from just being out there amongst the fans, because we had a couple of meetings. They talking. Excuse my friends, they doing more talking and then they turn around. Hey, you saw that? They don't miss the whole play. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, that's going to be practices where they are really saying, okay, this is when things are getting critical now.
Yeah.
We're getting ready for a game, getting ready for a preseason game. Let's see what guys are out there who's showing up, who continues to show up. And so now we can take that and say, okay, I saw this guy do this 2 days before this preseason game, so I'm looking forward to seeing him doing it this weekend.
The other thing that drives me absolutely nuts, this is more of a pet peeve, just in general, is when someone's on the old Instagram or, Twitter or whatever, and they post a video of like routes on air or like pat and go. And I was like, look at this catch.
I hate it.
I'm like,
but
my guy.
They're showing wide receivers and tight ends so much love. As a DB, I'm like, first of all, my high school son is over there doing that. And y'all giving him a look. They like, ooh, look at Tanner toe drag. It's just Tanner and Todd Collins.
Don't get mad at me for toe dragging and catching the ball.
Like, what are they doing?
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
It's trash,
and I hate
man.
it. Look, I hate it too. Like the only time, like I would always repost people things that they put out there. I hated doing it to my guys because I'm like, come on, this is practice.
Yeah.
And I remember I did
But
one.
it's like the worst part of practice.
Now I will. So I say this because I did this one time when D Hall and me had a one-on-one, and somebody sent it something. Oh, I got to post this. You know what I mean? I had to repost it, but I gave D Hall props because I'm like, man, I know this is D Hall. 9 times out of 10, D Hall practicing and D Hall playing is two different people. You know what I'm saying?
You got 2 seconds in the hand to get the ball out your hand.
You know what I mean? So and we in one-on-one. It's no pass rush, no nothing. But I think what you can look at, and that's what fans look at. They're just looking at the exciting part of that guy making that play. If you don't make the play, then they not worrying about none of that. They want to see the guy make the play.
You know what? The only person I can say really feel pressure at practice, no matter what the situation is the kicker. Because he don't get too much time to shot. He got this one period. And if he missed it while they cried out there in practice,
they will boo.
Boo you! Like the kicker's the only person that get booed at training camp.
Yeah.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Who else?
Ain't gonna boo them.
I can get beat at practice.
You remember that period when the coaches bring everybody up and say, all right, we got these last kicks.
No practice tomorrow. If so-and-so make this kick.
Or look, no wind sprints.
I do remember that.
He made this field goal, no wind sprints. We like, boy, you gonna make them
It ain't but 73 yards. Like, what are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. The kicker is constantly under pressure. He don't practice with us. He don't do nothing. We call him up for one period.
Dude, that always used to crack me up when, who was it? It was like Kai Forbath or something.
Yeah.
He was here and watching. I played with him at UCLA, soccer player. He'd come out there with his golf clubs. They'd be doing like chips on the side for a little bit.
They have nothing to do, but when your number is called, like that's the one thing about a kick is you have nothing to do. 4 quarters, they like, just, 3 seconds left.
Dig it in your ear.
We need you, Chip. We need you to knock this one in. Shank. Oh! Worst kicker of all time. He the reason for the season. Like, that's it. Like, I'm just saying, it's one of those jobs. We love you when we love you. We hate you when you hate you. Is kicking unfair?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't give them no props until we need them.
Your kicking's hard, by the way. Yeah. It's very, very hard.
tough.
Yeah, we had a contest.
I had a kick. Oh, yeah, that's right. You were terrible.
Yeah.
Check that out. That's on YouTube, by the way, somewhere. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
By the way, you're an ogre.
So
like, he kicks the ball. Like, he just runs and kicks the ball.
Let me just say, I have to say this every time. No one wanted that but Fred. Fred was like, oh, I can kick a 35-yard field goal. And I was like, no, you can't. He's like, bet, let's do it right now. And I was like, all right. Right?
That's
what happened.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
35.
So everyone thinks I'm picking on Fred. Fred brought that on himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fred was talking to me.
Hey, he bullied me in basketball. I was in no shape.
Are you in shape? You said you're getting in shape, though.
Amped up. I was jogging around Chicago, the Windy City the other day, shirt off. Just jogging around there. They like, Caleb? I like, no, not with you. Hey. I just kept on jogging. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what they say a pair of lips will do?
This man for sure. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for joining us. And make sure you come out to training camp and watch live practice. And if you can't come out to live practice, make sure you tune into our live shows, which are happening pretty regularly. But if you...
California strength.
But yeah, also make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Really appreciate it. Oh, and the podcast awards. That's a big one. Make sure you do that too.
Please do.
Vote.